Okay. We're streaming. Welcome everybody. It's Monday night. Time for our broadcast. We are here for two purposes tonight. Number one, we're going to have a short meditation for human consciousness, and then we will have the Toltec discussions with Golden Eagle. So please stay tuned for all of that. The Toltec discussions with Golden Eagle tonight is going to be about bridging the gap. And if you want to know which gap I'm talking about, stay tuned after the meditation. So these meditations are uploading and replacing instructions in the human collective consciousness, which will allow humanity to start to embrace its true potential and stop listening to propaganda. These are extremely powerful exercises. So, let's begin. Sit comfortably with your spine aligned with gravity, feet and legs not crossed, feet on the floor, or if you prefer the lotus position, that works too. Breathe deeply down into your abdomen. In your mind's eye, hold a vision that for you is symbolic of clean water for everyone. Activate your energy. Pull in from the background field of the universe a lovely ball of energy and see in your mind's eye this ball become the planet Earth. Now, repeat with me, and we are going to send instructions into the Earth's collective consciousness field. God lives. Love is the answer. We are all one. God lives. Love is the answer. We are all one. God lives. Love is the answer. We are all one. God lives. Love is the answer. We are all one. Send one last wave of love energy into the consciousness field. Open your eyes and come back and rejoin us on the physical plane. We do this whenever there isn't an interruption at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. I'm fully aware that not everyone can do this every day, twice a day. I've even had to miss a few due to unexpected reasons, in which case just continue these on your own. There's a number online, both on the YouTube channel and on the Facebook page, that you can pick any one and follow along with it at the appropriate time. The more people that do this, the more powerful it is. Okay, do we have anyone online yet?
Yeah, hang on. So, I'm not seeing anyone on Facebook.
Okay.
But on YouTube we have Mohadib,
Wadid,
Patty C,
Hattie C,
Little Eagle,
the legal.
Heidi Porter,
Ms. Heidi.
Let's see. There was a comment that your video is freezing, and I do see on YouTube you look a little jumpy. But let me finish. We have Aaron Eaton.
Aaron Eaton, okay.
And Dennis Brown and George G.
George G, hi, and Dennis, hi. I don't know what's up with YouTube. It appears to be a YouTube problem. We're connected via hardline on the internet, so a couple of times recently we've had people reporting that. So I apologize. We've changed none of our settings. And
Yeah, it seems to keep refreshing on my end. Is there anything you want to try before we go forward?
let me think. I'm not sure what there is to try short of stopping it and restarting it, but
That would be the video program.
yeah, let's not stop it and restart
Okay, so if it's too weird, follow us on Facebook.
Follow us on Facebook. I don't like these things happening because they're not supposed to, and we're paying for the good internet, so
They're saying there's a lot of freezing, so I'm asking if it's interrupting the sound.
yeah. Is the sound good?
The bandwidth width gets hogged on holidays. Well, there's that.
Oh, there is that. This is a holiday, isn't it?
Well, we don't usually have those kind of problems, though.
Well, YouTube lagging pretty much. You know what? Let's just go ahead and stop it on YouTube. Click stop recording, stop,
Okay, we'll be
Streaming.
right back.
and we'll try to come back. See what happens. It's an experiment.
Okay, well, you should be streaming, so.
Okay. Keep us informed, people out there in internet land on YouTube, and we'll see. Let's wait and get some feedback.
They said the sound had been freezing also, so
Okay.
I'm just refreshing before I look at and see what I see.
Yeah. So, Facebook is working good, I guess?
Wave your hand or something, because I don't know if I've got a time lag here.
YMCA.
That's
Boy,
what-
does that date me. I could do the Macarena.
Yeah.
Poorly.
The screen that I just refreshed is completely frozen.
Okay.
Hold on. I just saw movement.
Wadid is saying YouTube is still choppy. Semaphore? I learned semaphore in Boy Scouts about 45 years ago. I don't remember any of it.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, that's Morse code with flags. Only lagging by a few seconds now. Let's go with this for now. If it gets worse, we may have to regroup. Okay, gap analysis. It's an engineering term that basically is used to describe the difference or the gap between where you are and where you would like to be. The tie-in with our recent discussions on potential is your potential is to be a divine being incarnated in a physical body, which you are, but to have full divine consciousness and full divine capabilities, consciously under your full control. In other words, your potential is to become a God incarnate. Between that potential and where you are today, there's a gap. Basically, there's blank spots you have to fill in on your resume and your skill set. That is where esoteric schools come in. That's such as the Toltecs or a fourth way school or any other school of a legitimate initiated teacher, initiated in the higher planes, who can bring through a level of gnosis that is otherwise unavailable. So one of your goals then is to become initiated yourself. That's the job description of being an esoteric student. There's a lot of ways you can attain that knowledge and those skills. Whichever way you work, it's going to involve work. Hard work and lots of it. Your teacher can't do that for you. You have to do that for you, which means you have to make a conscious choice that you want to do it. That you're done with the karmic cycle, that you want to attain a state of being and a state of consciousness where you can fulfill your true destiny and help fulfill the destiny of humanity. That's it. Any questions? No questions? Okay, good. I guess my work here is done today. Seriously? No questions? I just told you you have the potential to be a God incarnate if you do certain things, and not one question on what it is you have to do to attain that? Really? Are you on the right show? We have possibilities that are endless. The endless possibilities that lie before us require a conscious choice on the part of humanity as a whole. One human alone, it's almost impossible to attain that state. That's why the Toltecs work in groups. To work in a group, the first step is learning group dynamics. We learn how to communicate with each other. We learn how to sense spaces. We learn how to sense energies. Someone shows up and they're off, we should all know and do what we can to create a space for people to get their energy recentered. The group dynamic in a Toltec group is the first step in really using the human collective consciousness proactively. Yeah, we're doing these meditations, they have had an effect, they are continuing to have an effect. In one of the meditations, I mentioned that those of us who are doing this, and I appreciate those of you who are able to tune in or log in or just do them on your own if you can't log in. I appreciate those of you who've continued and do the meditation even when I can't make it, or either be a planned absence or a couple I've had lately which were entirely unexpected. These meditations we're uploading a message. It's a simple message, but it's very powerful. The next phase of that work can potentially become a lot more detailed, a lot more specific at specific types of targets. Keeping in mind, the work we do must meet the criteria for the benefit of all beings everywhere. We can't interfere with the true will of individuals who are not harming others. They might be on a very ridiculously stupid path, but we can't harm their true will. You want to go get a 1970s flock of seagulls haircut? Okay, I can't interfere with that. You want to get a 1980s for women, those big hairdos, you know, that were 3 times bigger than your head? Okay. I can't stop that. You're not hurting anyone except yourself when you do those things. But we have an extremely powerful tool here. Question just went by. What does that say on Facebook?
Well, so there's at least a 15-second lag. I just checked it.
Okay.
And so these are questions that came in long after you had asked for questions.
Oh, okay. Let's go down the questions then.
Okay.
Since we're dealing with a time warp here.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think I'm going to move on, Patty, from the Macarena comment. I think that was the YMCA, actually. So Aaron says work. And Yvonne says, how do I do that with intention? And I'm not exactly sure what that was because of the time lag. How do I find endless possibilities? Now the whole world's off with coronavirus. How can I, individuality, humanity, get out of fear?
Okay. Is that all from Lily?
That's all from her. And then, do you want any other questions? Let's see. Patty just asked, what do we have to do? And Serenity says, hi.
Oh, hi, Serenity. I'm taking her comment first.
Okay.
Hi, Serenity. We love seeing your pictures online when your mom posts them. And we hope to see you again soon.
Now, Serenity's on YouTube, but her mom is on Facebook. No. So Mohadib says, I had a friend ask today, how can the potential of the human being be realized? What does it mean to have potential?
Okay, I'm going to go there first, and then I'm going to go to Little Eagle's questions. So we may have to scroll back up, and I may have to have you repeat it.
Okay.
But how do we fulfill our potential as human beings, and what does it mean to have potential? Okay, I'm going to use some analogies, some of which maybe I've used before, and hopefully some of them I haven't. Potential simply means a recognition of something that hasn't happened yet. When we talk about potential energy in physics, you know, the classic example is we take a big ball up high, and how far it is above the surface of the earth, there is a potential energy that if we let the ball drop and it comes down, it will hit the ground with a certain energy that's based in part on how high it was, how massive the object is, how much air resistance, you know, technical things like that. When it's up there, it has a potential to create energy that you can then harness and use that energy for something else. But until you let it go, it's just a potential. All right? Potential energy can be stored in chemicals or compressed air. We have those compressed air horns, right, that you take to the football game so you can be louder and you know, intimidate the other team, which is a very real phenomenon if you've ever been to football games. You can actually intimidate the other players by your crowd noise. You throw them off sync, but they can just be in awe of 100,000 people screaming at them. So the horn has a canister of compressed air. And then this little thumb thing is a valve, and then the compressed air comes out through a little horn and it makes noise, right? Until you press that, there is the potential to make noise, but there's no noise. Right? As a human being, we start out, as the old saying says, as a gleam in your father's eye. He's in an amorous mood, your mom's in an amorous mood. And that gleam in your father's eye is a potential to create a new human. The gleam, however, is not the human. There's a few more steps required in there. So when the two cells unite and start the process of cell division to create a new life form, it's until it's actually born and draws its first breath and pulls in the chi from the environment to combine with the prenatal chi stored in the energy of the cells, it's not even a human until that potential is fulfilled. Now you've got this little creature, right? It's a potential, it's an infant, it's not even a child yet. So it's a potential child. The child is a potential adult. The adult is a potential airline pilot, or a football player, or a surgeon, or a carpenter, or an artist, right? We don't know yet what this little being is going to become. That's up to the being, and it's the force of its destiny. We all take on a charge when we agree to incarnate. A lot of time and effort went into planning this incarnation you've got. Time is measured differently on the other planes, but the amount of effort that is put into arranging these conscious incarnations is on our time scale equivalent of many months to many years. Just planning the opportunity to be born to attempt to fulfill your potential. So are you going to become a carpenter or are you going to become a race car driver? We don't know. The potential that you have for one incarnation is what we call your divine destiny or your true will. We're not talking about wants and desires of your physical body, the human biological machine. We're talking about the main reason you came here and the main task or tasks that you're here to accomplish. That's what I'm talking about as potential for one incarnation. Now, humanity, all of the beings who are human, who are occupying these human primate bodies over long eons of time, humanity has a purpose. The purpose of humanity is to evolve these physical bodies to interface with our higher essential selves, and then at the same time use this incarnation to push the evolution of our essential selves to create this merger, a unification. That, as I started tonight with, brings into a physical organism the full capabilities of God to act on this plane. There are things that can be done on each of the planes of reality that can only be done on that plane. We can have influences on the adjacent planes, both up and down. But there are certain things that we got to be here to do this. Whatever your incarnation's this is. The best way we fulfill the whole potential of humanity in that way is for each of us in each incarnation to fulfill our own requirements for being here, our own true will. That potential that we have. This is think of this as two things. Number one, it's a training ground. And number two, it's the ultimate example of being on stage. The lovely Bonnie has a background in theater. For those of you who don't know, a really good one. She's worked at the highest levels of professional theater there is, quite successfully. And what she'll tell you is that what goes on stage, what the audience sees, it's exactly like the tip of the iceberg of what goes on behind the scenes to bring that creation to life. Right?
Right.
To bring that creation to life, there has to be a script. There has to be costumes. There has to be a set. There has to be lighting. There has to be sound. You need actors and actresses. Oh yeah, the director or her. A producer. Somebody's like the famous play The Producer. There's got to be somebody willing to write that check in the expectation that they'll make a profit. job here on earth is, remember from our discussions in the past about the Kabbalistic tree of life. The background field of the universe and the divine intelligence conspire to create a universe that culminates here in the physical plane. The physical plane is the pinnacle of creation from the point of view of divine. This is a point of contention I have between this full esoteric knowledge of how the universe works and some small selected spiritual systems who are basing their work and what they teach on getting out of here. Believe me, I understand a desire to get out of here. There's been more than once in my life where I very seriously said, beam me up, Scotty, there's no intelligent life down here. I mean, we'll come back in 1,000 years and see if you're ready to join the Federation or not, because right now the answer is not. But we are here for a purpose, and the purpose is to make the physical universe be like the divine, to bring the divine here. So when I say this is the ultimate of being on stage, there's a waiting list to get here right now. I don't know if you realize it. I've mentioned it from time to time. I don't know if you really take me seriously or not. Sometimes I wonder. But yeah, from my information, there's a waiting list in the hundreds of millions to come to Earth right now because of these crucial times we're in, and the one lifetime on Earth now at this time is worth dozens of lifetimes at any other point in history, past or future, until we come around this 26,000 year cycle again.
So they're having freezing problems again on YouTube, so it's either the internet or YouTube. So those who can are switching over to Facebook.
Okay.
And so I just wanted you to be aware. I don't know how things are on Facebook. I haven't been back there.
The last time this happened, I'm so sorry, people. If you can go to Facebook, please go to Facebook. I don't want to interrupt too much right now. The last time this came up, I did a speed test, and we are at a proper speed. So I believe our internet between here and the internet provider is working. So I think this is a YouTube issue. So this is the ultimate on stage. There's a waiting list to get here. We are here to learn things and do things that can't be done anywhere else. This idea that we have a potential is multifaceted. It's the potential that we're here striving to finish for this lifetime, this one incarnation, as well as setting us up for any future incarnations, as well as working to advance the potential of humanity as a whole. Some of my writings I talk about humanity as if it were an organism that I call very creatively the humanity organism. You know, as scientists, we're known for being technically accurate, but maybe not the most artistically creative people in the universe. And yeah, that was one of my bad jokes you can laugh at. And laugh at me. Guilty as charged. So how you go about doing that? Well, step one is You need to realize that there's a potential to be had. That's not information they teach in the human indoctrination system. I'm sorry, the human education system. That's not something they teach in most religions. They don't teach it in most spiritual systems. Some, but not most. Especially some of the fluffier, lighter, feel-good religions or systems where they basically tell you your goal is to feel good and nothing more. And to avoid anything that makes you uncomfortable, because uncomfortable is bad. And I'm going to tell you, and pretty much every spiritual teacher will tell you, that that's simply not the case, that if you want to transform yourself into something higher, A, there's work, B, it's hard, and C, discomfort is guaranteed. Absolutely, positively guaranteed. It's hard. And the farther you go, it doesn't get any easier. So we have a potential to be had, and the best way to realize it and start to do something about it is to embrace your own spiritual nature. So you're going to need to tell your friend that yes, they have a spiritual nature and it can be tapped into. And that doesn't mean going to church every Sunday to a dogmatic religion that doesn't want you communicating with God. Legitimate spiritual systems tell you, A, not only can you communicate with God, but B, you're supposed to be, so why aren't you already?
Do you want to hear her answer?
Yeah, please.
Her answer was, I had told her that the human potential is anything we can do or be that we haven't done yet. And
Right.
to realize your potential, you must push past comfort zones and limitations to find out what you can do.
That's a good answer. That's all true. I think I went into more detail, but yeah, that's all true, Mati, and good for you. And invite your friend to watch these. And if they don't run away screaming after watching me a couple times, there's probably hope for them. Okay, we may have to scroll back up to get to Little Eagle's question.
Just so you know, she is still on YouTube because she doesn't do Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know how well she can even hear your answer. But, how do I do that with intention?
Intention.
Intention. How do I find endless possibilities? Now the whole world is off with the coronavirus. How can I help individually humanity get out of fear?
How can you help individually help humanity get out of fear? Number one, stop being fearful yourself. Okay? It's sort of like the answer that gets bandied about all the time. That's like, gee, I know somebody who won't meditate. None of my friends will meditate. How can I help them and make them meditate? It's like, you meditate more, right? So, meditate more. Don't be fearful. When you start talking to people online or in person and they go on about fear, just say, no, that's not true. We have an immune system. It protects us against any and all infectious illnesses if we maintain our health in its proper state, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and energetically. If we didn't have an immune system that would defend us and protect us, the human race simply would not be here. Any species, a very large multicellular organism existing on multiple planes of being, who can get taken out by a sub-single cellular creature, won't show up in the fossil record for very long. Humans have been on this planet for at least hundreds of thousands of years. As different versions have progressed, what are called the various root races. And the form of humanity has changed as we have worked hard over the eons to upgrade the form of humanity to provide better interfaces to our essential cells in the higher planes. In terms of not being fearful yourself, you really must embrace that knowledge. I mean, think back through your whole life. You're still here. At this point, you've probably had multiple bacterial infections, infected cuts, colds and flus, food poisonings, and of all the disharmonies my physical being has experienced, food poisoning is the worst. About 3 times in my life I've had food poisoning, and it was terrible. I don't even want to go into details.
Please.
But after all that, I'm still here. You're still here. We can take medications, we can take herbs, but all they do is help facilitate your body's immune system. Right? Every single case of infectious illness that any human being has ever recovered from is the result of their own immune system. Antibiotics don't get you better if you have a bacterial infection. They kill some of the disease, but as soon as you stop taking them, if you haven't restored your health, the disease comes back. I saw this over and over and over again when I was still in clinical practice. I saw people turn their illness on and off, on and off, on and off, by their choices of food. Eat sugar, they get sick. Stop eating sugar, they're fine. So know that. Know that most of what's going on in the media and the societal implications right now are reactions out of fear. For the simple reason we don't teach immune systems in school anymore, apparently. Or maybe they only choose politicians who flunk the immune system class when they're in their health unit back in high school. I don't know. But it seems like none of them have a clue. So doing all that with intention is a process that all of us who do this work have to do every day. We get up in the morning and we set an intent. I'm going to work on my true will. We go to bed, we get ready to move into the dreaming, we say, I'm going to work on my true will. And maybe we narrow it down. I'm going to work on this in the dreaming, and tomorrow I'm going to work on this aspect of my life and true will, whatever that may be. Tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, I'm teaching a Qigong class. That's part of my true will. It's part of this is part of why I've made my most recent career change, to stop being a clinician and to spread knowledge of our spiritual nature and the subtle energies, because those are being horribly suppressed. Far more than intravenous vitamin C or any other natural remedy. There's a small marching army of hundreds of thousands out there spreading information, accurate, valid information about natural medicine. There's not very many of us who have made this shift into really working on consciousness, spirituality, and the subtle energies, which, as I describe it, is the other 85% of the universe, besides the physical. Everything else on how to do some of those things involves skills that I know, Little Eagle, you learned in your level 4 class. I know that because I was there. And I know what I taught. So you have skills to look at all of those potentialities. One-on-one we can talk more if you wish. But you have the skills. It's just getting up every day, making a choice that that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna follow your true will. You're not gonna live in fear. You're not gonna tolerate fear around you. But you can do that in a kind, loving, and gentle way. You can say, look, Cain, we have an immune system. If it didn't work, we wouldn't be here. Oh yeah, right. Yeah. Okay. Hey, thanks. So, I think I answered your question. I hope you heard it with our laggy dropouts. If not, please type something more, Little Eagle. And if nothing else, hopefully the tape playback will work better than the live stream. All we can hope for. Okay, were there more questions?
Well, let's give them a few seconds to answer that.
Okay. Anybody else online the last half hour?
Vento came in right when we were switching over, and I think he switched over.
Okay, Viento de Octubre. Welcome, brother. Okay.
Hold on.
Holding on.
Hold it, hold it, hold it.
Holding my horses.
I'm not seeing anything.
Okay. Back at that original time, were there any other comments or questions that didn't get answered?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just kind of running through the chat because everybody kind of shifted out of YouTube, so I'm looking at two different places here.
I don't know. I've seen YouTube go through phases before, and I hope this isn't the beginning of the end for them. I know that they've been going through conniption fits lately, so there are other platforms out there I'm exploring. There's one that I have an account on that right now I can upload videos to, but I can't live stream on. So I'm looking at several. We'll see. But these kind of dropouts are a nuisance, so I apologize. I'm not king for a day yet. Yet.
Vento said he's excited about the summer courses. Because I was afraid we might drop out, I had already put in the chat logs on both sites the new links to Dr.
Good.
Cage Says and to the Akadiwa website. I wanted to apologize for anybody who may have gone to the Akadiwa website recently. We were apparently in the middle of reformatting it when a major pandemic hit, and so many of our pages were down. So the pages are back up. There's a lot of new information on there, including the summer series for energy and physics.
Okay, so good comment. We have a series, and it's laid out through May, June, July, August, and I think in September. It's kind of several parts that are standalone, but some build on each other. The one yesterday about the physics was more detailed than I've ever included in a simple Akadwa class. I always put a tiny bit in an Akadwa level 1 class. But yesterday was the expanded version, which is still the abbreviated from what I used to teach in the olden days. That is going to be available on YouTube via a private link. So you have to request it, and I will email you the link. And just before we went live tonight, I just figured out how to do that because the first attempt didn't work. So, and that class is by donation. So if you like it, when we send you the link, you know, we accept all donations. And like I sometimes say, no donation is too large. So, what we're going for with this summer series is human potential. What a perfect segue. Thank you. We have more potential for what we are and what we can do, especially for healing and consciousness work, than we ever were told back in the indoctrination camps called grade school and junior high and high school. So that's what it's about. I have several higher level classes. We're going to have modules on distance healing, how to do that reliably. And there's even more that isn't on the summer series. We just ran out of summer. So we may have to do a fall series, a winter series. We'll see what comes up.
Well, I think the key is that these are courses that we normally would have held over the years period, and since half our year has been eaten up and we've tried to reschedule them a bunch of times, we've moved everything online, and so most of these will be done in Zoom classes, and we're trying to encourage people who are still at home and locked down to join in on those free training sessions where all of us can be practicing all of the things that we should already be practicing.
Right. Yeah, I don't, when you develop these new energy medicine skills, whether it's for healing or consciousness work or meditation, the goal is for you to actually use it, and don't treat it like that expensive piece of exercise equipment that you're using to dry towels now, okay, to hang your towels on, as opposed to actually using it to exercise. So we want you to exercise these new skills, and we want you to engage in developing all your higher bodies as you do this. So, those were good questions. Ding, ding, ding on those questions. It's just not the same in these no live audience except one. You know, it's even the kittens are in the other room because they're big enough that they can stay awake long enough that they'd be out of control if they were here for the whole broadcast. So, the potential that we have is basically unlimited. Both individually and collectively. There is so much that we could be doing right now with what's already been discovered and invented, rediscovered in some cases, and using a quantum leap or two higher level baseline for pushing humanity forward. It boggles the mind what we could be doing. Even those of us who meditate and work on the higher planes in meditation and in dreaming, and we see all this stuff, it's still mind-boggling to think what we could be doing. And the key is getting enough people's attention to take that potential seriously.
Individually and in groups.
Right. It's worse in groups.
No, I'm saying we want to get groups
We
together.
want to get groups doing it, but just to get somebody, get their nose out of the television and start to use the mind, you can sometimes have success talking to someone one-on-one. Trying to talk to a large group or even a medium-sized group, that can be a challenge when they're all embracing false images, false doctrine. I've often wondered, just as a thought exercise, what I would say if I were going to be a keynote speaker at the annual meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
You got your speech already, huh?
Oh no, I haven't bothered to actually write the speech, but I wonder about what could you say
I know, right?
in a room full of people who have bought the Kool-Aid and drunk it gladly and really truly believe that the earth is a flat disk. How would you get up and say, and you're the keynote speaker, somehow you got picked, right? How could you change that dynamic? Or is it even possible? And it doesn't matter how many pictures you show of a spherical Earth taken from space, because we've got lots of those. That doesn't seem to matter. Oh, those were all faked, right? That's the mantra. I've seen these discussions online. Oh yeah, that's all fake. We don't believe that. So what would you say in that kind of situation? You can't say anything. I mean, it would be kind of fun to go poke them with a stick, you know, maybe. Say, look, gang, you guys are idiots. Here's all the science. Here's all the photos. Here's the 3D model that we can do in a holographic projector to show, you know. I have a picture I throw around that shows, and the disk of the moon, a full moon, with a horizontal dark strip going across it. And the caption says, those flat earth eclipses are awesome. Because solar and lunar eclipses, especially a lunar eclipse, is one of the major pieces of data we have to know that the Earth is a sphere. Because here's the moon, and the shadow of a spherical Earth covers the moon. It's not a thin strip, right? And that's just one piece of probably 20 to prove the point from just simple Earth-based observations. So human collective consciousness is powerful in both good ways and bad ways. But your potential has to start with you recognizing it, that what you are today is not the true you. You have the potential to be more. You have to embrace that process. You have to push yourself in all your spheres, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and energetically. You have to be willing to embrace the whole of the universe. That means if you look at a yin-yang symbol, half the universe is in the light and half is in the dark. That's our own nature. That's the universe. Scientists may call it dark matter, but they still don't know what it means. Not really. It's actually a construct because they can't get their equations to come out right unless they create something called dark matter. I think we're going to see another modern physics revolution, much like the one 100 plus years ago, 120 years ago, where they were trying to explain away the ultraviolet catastrophe, as it's called. And those of you who watched the class yesterday, you now know what the ultraviolet catastrophe is. So tell all your friends. And I think we're going to find out that, oh, yeah, we were on the wrong track with this dark matter stuff. Yeah, yeah. So, there is a place in your consciousness that is the doorway to your higher self, to your essential self, and to the rest of the universe. At times, trying to find the doorway, let alone unlock it and go in it, feels a lot like somebody telling you, here are all the secrets to the universe, and I stored them safely in this safe. And the combination to the safe is locked up inside with all the other secrets. So you have to figure out a way to open the safe without the combination. And there is a secret to that whole process. And I've actually told those of you who've heard me before, I've told you what it is. It's very simple. And once you figure that out and do it, the door opens. And all the secrets to the universe are yours. And it has something to do with your intent. So, any questions?
Not on Facebook, and I'm pretty sure that YouTube is just frozen up, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we're going to stop there tonight, gang. The ball's in your court, as they say, to claim your potential. So, for some of you, I may see you at 9 in the morning for Qigong class. If not, then I'll see you the next time I see you. Or you see me. Oh, this Saturday, Akadwa Level 1.
Right.
If there's anybody there may be people out there who hold the Akadwa and have never been through any of the formal training classes put on by the Akadwa Institute of Healing. I encourage you to do so. There's a nominal fee that we usually charge of $50 if you already have the Akadwa, and that's negotiable, and we can spread that out because of the world shutdowns where we recognize a lot of us are economically challenged. And so if you need payment arrangements, that's okay. Just contact us and we'll work out what it is. If you feel called to be there, we want you there.
And that information is in the link I already put up, and I am looking for and will post the link to the Facebook on Facebook, the Facebook event.
Right, okay.
So that's easier. And
Who already took your level 1? Oh, same, $50. If they got the level 1, unless they get here and I test them, or we get to the class and we test them and they don't have the Akadwa, in which case you'll have to fix that. But I know that didn't happen because I know you know how to give level 1s.
So, part of the thing with that is that Normally we give the level 1 halfway through the course. Some of the intro information was just covered in the physics class. And so we had talked about having people who actually need the transmission to connect with us at 9:30 so that you have time to work with them individually to give transmissions.
Yeah, we could do that. I like that idea.
And then we'll start, the formal class sometime after 10. But if there's those who want to observe the distance transmissions, then they should be there at 9:30.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good. So I know there's a lot of people up and down the universe who have the Akadwa, and having talked to some of them, even level 3s and 4s, who've never really been formally trained, we'd be happy to share what we know. Bonnie and I have been teaching the Akadwa out in the world for more than 10 years now. So we have some experience that we are happy to share. If you don't run away fast enough, we will.
So I think the thing that's important to know is if you have the Akadwa, you have the Akadwa. What we're teaching are techniques from many different systems, including ones that you've developed on your own, to be able to better build and harness and use and direct the energies, and to just determine what it is that you are going to do with it, what unique thing that you're going to bring to the table.
Right. It's because remember, there's one key aspect of the Kadwa that we teach that makes it so powerful is you can think of it as an amplifier of your own consciousness. So wherever you then direct your consciousness and your intention, it all gets stronger. So it makes you a more complete, a more powerful you. That's part of the beauty of the Akadwa. And it was released specifically for this time to help humanity through anything that might come our way. So, that's this coming Saturday, May 30th, at either 9:30 for the transmissions and 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific time for the full class.
Can you all see what I just posted on there, or did it only just go to Viento? I put on a link for Facebook that goes directly to the event, and I don't remember what else I put in there.
Yeah, if somebody can give us feedback on that by typing in. She sees it.
All right, yay.
It worked.
Okay, and welcome Suzanne. We're just logging off here.
Oh, Suzanne. Well, I'm sorry, but we can keep going longer just for your benefit. We can go over the whole thing again.
Or you can watch it on YouTube, because it does look like the video recorded correctly. It's just the YouTube uplink thing.
Yeah, okay. So basically, Suzanne, the story tonight was about our potential as an individual and humanity, and what that true potential is, and how we bridge the gap or start to. And a lot of it is comes down to the ball's in your court to embrace the notion that you have potential far above and beyond anything that you may have been taught by mainstream educational sources. That we are powerful divine beings, and there's some work and refinement to bring that potential into being. So there's a nice little summary of tonight's discussion.
Just one other thing is if anyone missed or wanted the video for the intro to the physics of energy medicine, what are you